The red dust of Mars moved gently in the wind outside the small mining colony called Ridgepoint. The sun was weak and pale through the thin air, but it still gave the land a glow that looked almost alive. Most people inside the colony were sleeping, but one man was still awake. His name was Ryan, a young mechanic who worked on the old mining machines that everyone else thought were too broken to fix. Ryan's workshop was small and full of noise. The sound of gears turning and sparks jumping from his tools filled the air. He was fixing a drill when the alarm outside gave a faint hum. It was not the big colony alarm, only a small one connected to his workshop scanner. It showed something moving far out on the sand. At first, he thought it was another dust storm, but the signal was different. It was small and weak, like a lost drone or a crash beacon. Ryan wiped the sweat from his face and looked through the scanner again. The reading stayed on his screen. He stood up, feeling curious. "What now?" he said softly to himself. He put on his old jacket and helmet, grabbed a small torch, and went out into the cold night. The colony lights faded behind him as he walked into the open desert. The sand crunched under his boots. It was quiet except for the wind brushing over the metal towers in the distance. After a few minutes, he saw a faint blue light half buried in the sand. The glow pulsed like a heartbeat. When he reached it, he saw something strange. A small pod, maybe 1 meter long, had crashed into the ground. Its surface was smooth and shining like glass mixed with metal. It looked nothing like human machines. Ryan knelt beside it and brushed away the dust. The front part had cracked open, and inside he saw a soft shape moving slowly. It looked like a small animal covered in silver fur, but when his light touched it, the fur shimmered like liquid. It gave a weak sound, almost like a whimper. Ryan hesitated. The creature looked hurt. One of its limbs was bent at a wrong angle, and a small piece of metal was stuck near its side. He looked around, expecting maybe another pod or rescue drone, but the desert was empty. "Poor thing," he whispered. "You won't last out here." He lifted the creature gently. It was lighter than he expected, warm to the touch, and its fur gave off a faint glow. It trembled for a moment, then went still, as if trusting him. Ryan wrapped it inside his jacket and carried it back toward the colony. The security gate recognized his ID and opened with a soft hiss. He walked quickly through the narrow hallways, hoping no one would see him. Pets were not allowed in Ridgepoint, and alien life, if that's what this was, would surely be taken away for study. He reached his workshop and locked the door behind him. Inside, he placed the creature on a clean table. Its breathing was shallow but steady. Ryan carefully removed the metal shard from its side and cleaned the wound with a med gel patch. Sipiu. Blue blood that came out sparkled faintly before turning dark. He had seen a lot of strange fluids in mining injuries, but never anything like that. He sat back and studied it. "What are you, little one?" he murmured. The creature gave a small sound again, a soft hum that almost sounded like words, but not in any language he knew. Its large eyes blinked slowly, glowing faintly in the dim light. Ryan felt a strange pull in his chest. It wasn't fear. It was a quiet wonder. The hours passed. Ryan stayed beside it, repairing one of his machines while keeping an eye on his guest. Every now and then he saw the creature's light flicker or its body twitch. Once, when he turned off the main lights, the creature's glow brightened on its own, filling the room with a gentle blue color. It made the old workshop look calm and peaceful. By morning, Ryan decided to call it Mira, because its shining body reminded him of the word mirror. He spoke softly to it while he worked. "You're safe here, Mira. Just rest. I'll figure out where you came from." Mira responded with soft hums. When he walked away, her eyes followed him, always watching. At one point, when he dropped a wrench, she flinched and the lights in the room flickered for a second. Ryan frowned. "Strange reaction," he said quietly. "Maybe just scared." He checked the crash pod again. Its metal was too smooth, too advanced for anything made by human hands. He found a circular band among the wreckage, half broken and covered in the same glowing material. When he brought it near Mira, she reacted instantly. Her eyes widened and her body glowed brighter, but her breathing quickened like she was afraid. Ryan quickly set the band aside. All right, I won't touch it, he said gently. You just rest. For the next 2 days, he kept Mira hidden. He turned down requests for repair jobs and closed the workshop door whenever someone passed by. During the night, he heard strange electronic sounds coming from where she slept. Sometimes she made faint shapes in the air, as if her glow could draw patterns. The shapes looked like circles and lines that moved together like a map. He recorded one on his datapad, not sure what it meant. On the third night, while he was repairing an engine part, Mira suddenly made a sound louder than before. Ryan turned quickly and saw her sitting upright for the first time. The wound on her side had healed completely, leaving no mark. Her eyes glowed brighter now, like 2 stars. She tilted her head at him and spoke. The words were slow, broken, but clear. Ryan, help. He froze. You can talk? She nodded weakly. Help. Crash. Need home. Ryan blinked, trying to understand. Home? Where is your home? Mira lifted a small hand and pointed upward toward the sky. Then she looked at the broken band on the table. Key. Broken, she said softly. Her voice was gentle but carried sadness. Need fix. Ryan stared at the band again. This thing? You mean that's important? She nodded again, her small face showing hope. Fix, please. He took the band carefully and studied it under the light. The device had hundreds of tiny symbols and what looked like thin wires that pulsed with faint energy. It reminded him of some kind of advanced translator or shield device. I can try, he said after a moment, but this is not normal tech. I don't even know how it works. Mira looked at him quietly, her eyes trusting. You try, she said. So he did. All night long he used his tools to reconnect the broken wires and seal the cracks with bonding metal. The device was delicate, but he had fixed enough complex machines in his life to know patience was the key. Every time he stopped to rest, he saw Mira watching him, her eyes full of quiet light. When the sun rose again, he finally finished. He handed the band back to her. There. I don't know if it works, but I did my best. Mira took it slowly. The band glowed brighter as soon as it touched her skin. She pressed it to her wrist and the light spread across her body like ripples in water. For a moment, the entire workshop filled with soft blue light. Reen stepped back, amazed. Then just as suddenly, the glow faded. Mira's form shimmered for a second and he thought he saw something behind the light, something taller, more human in shape. But then it was gone. She lay back down, exhausted. Reen rushed to her side. Hey, are you okay? She smiled faintly. Better, she whispered. Thank you, Ryan. He felt a wave of warmth in his chest. You're welcome, Mira. We'll get you home somehow. Outside, the first rays of sunlight reached the red sand of Mars, painting the sky with gold. Inside the workshop, the mechanic sat beside the glowing creature he had rescued, unaware that the small being resting on his work table was no animal at all, but something far greater, someone whose arrival would soon change everything for him, for Mars, and perhaps for all of humanity. The next morning began like any other on Mars. The colony lights blinked on as the artificial sunrise spread across the domes. Inside his small workshop, Ryan sat beside the now peaceful creature he had rescued, who was no longer quite the same. The small glowing being, Mira, had begun to speak and understand simple words. Every time she spoke, her voice carried a strange harmony, almost musical. Ryan had not slept much. His thoughts kept circling around what had happened last night. The band he had fixed for her had reacted like living metal. For a moment he had seen a faint image of a taller shape inside the light, almost human, but he told himself it must have been his tired eyes. As the morning grew brighter, Mira opened her eyes. The blue glow around her skin was weaker now, but her voice was clearer. Ryan, she said softly. He smiled. Hey there. Feeling better today? Yes, she answered. Better. You fixed band? Thank you. Ryan nodded and handed her a cup of warm water. She studied it curiously before taking a small sip. "You're welcome," he said. "But I still don't understand what you are or where you came from." Mira looked down at the metal floor, her expression thoughtful. For a moment, she stayed silent as if trying to decide how much to say. Then she lifted her eyes again. "I tell you," she said slowly. Rian leaned forward. "Go ahead." Mira placed her small hands together and the band on her wrist began to glow again. A blue light spread around them and then a soft image formed in the air. It looked like a star map. Dozens of glowing points filled the space, connected by thin lines of light. One of them pulsed brightly. "This," she said, pointing at the bright star, "is my home, planet Thalra." Rian stared at it, his mouth slightly open. "That's not in our charts." "That's far outside known space," Mira nodded. "Far away. My people travel between stars. We learn, we watch, but now we hide." "Hide?" Ryan asked. She turned her gaze toward the floor again. "Bad people come, Dominion. They take worlds. They want power. High people fight, but we lose many." Ryan listened quietly, the weight of her words sinking in. He had heard old rumors of alien wars beyond the solar system, but humans had never made real contact. To think that one of the victims of such a war was lying in his workshop felt unreal. Mira continued. "I was on ship, we run. Dominion find us. We try to escape, but they shoot. My pod fall here." Her voice trembled slightly. "I think all gone. I alone." Ryan felt a tightness in his chest. "I'm sorry, Mira," he said softly. "You must have been terrified." She nodded slowly, but then gave a small smile. "You help, you kind. You fix band. You save me." Ryan tried to smile back. "Well, I couldn't just leave you out there." For a while they sat quietly. The holographic map faded, and the room filled with the simple sound of Ryan's machines humming. He couldn't stop thinking about what she had said. A galactic empire called the Dominion destroying entire worlds. If they ever reached human space, Earth wouldn't stand a chance. After some time, Mira stood up and walked around the workshop. She touched one of the engines he was repairing, studying it carefully. "You make machines," she said. "Yeah," Rian replied. "It's my job. I fix things that other people think can't be fixed." Mira nodded. "Human machines, simple but smart. You use what you have," Rian laughed a little. "That's one way to say we're behind on technology." She smiled. "Not behind, different. You use heart, not only mind." Her words made him pause. There was something pure about the way she said it. He had spent most of his life fixing things alone, never thinking that his work had meaning beyond keeping the colony running. Now somehow it felt like it did. That night, Ryan helped her learn more words. She pointed at things and asked their names. He showed her how to say light, tool, window, sky. She repeated them with soft curiosity, her accent giving each word a special sound. Later, as they sat near the small heater, Ryan asked, "Mira, what does that band really do?" She looked at the silver device on her wrist. "It connect to me. It part of me. Help me change." "Change?" She hesitated. "When my body hurt, it makes small form. Safer. Hide from danger." Ryan blinked. "So the animal form I found you in, it was you hiding?" She nodded. "Yes, my people can shift shape when need." He stared for a moment. "That's incredible."
"You mean you could look like a human too?"
Mira tilted her head. "Maybe, but I weak now. Not ready." Ryan leaned back, shaking his head in disbelief. "You're full of surprises." The following days passed quietly. Rian continued to teach her more about human life. He showed her videos of Earth, forests, oceans, and cities. Mira watched every image with wide eyes. "So much green," she said softly. "So much life." "You'd like it there," Ryan said. "Earth isn't perfect, but it's home." "Home," she repeated. The words seemed to comfort her. One evening, while Ryan was outside repairing a rover, he noticed something strange in the sky. A faint line of light was moving slowly above the horizon, not like a star, but steady and straight. He frowned and called out to Mira, who had been standing near the doorway. "Hey, come look at this." She came beside him and looked up. Her eyes widened instantly. "No," she whispered. "That not good. What do you mean?" "Dominion scout," she said quickly. "They find signal. They come." Ryan felt a chill run through him. "You mean they're searching for you?" She nodded, her voice low. "Yes, they follow energy of band. They find crash." He looked back at the sky. The light had stopped moving now. "How long before they reach here?" "Soon, maybe one day." Ryan's mind raced. Then we need to hide you. He brought her inside and began turning off all the machines to lower power use. He helped her cover the crash pod with metal sheets so the scanners couldn't detect it. Mira stood quietly watching him work with growing worry. Ryan, she said softly, if they find they hurt you. He looked at her and shook his head. I'm not letting them hurt anyone. Not you, not me, not this colony. You cannot fight them, she said. They're ship-strong. Ryan smiled slightly. Maybe, but humans have a way of surviving things we shouldn't. That night he stayed awake, checking old colony defense systems that had not been used in years. He sent fake signals to confuse scanners and masked power sources to make the workshop look abandoned. Mira watched him quietly from the corner. As the night grew darker, she spoke again. Why you help me? I am not your kind. Ryan stopped his work and looked at her. Because you needed help. That's enough. She looked at him for a long moment, then said softly, Where I come from, we forget this. We forget kindness. Maybe that's why we lose. He gave a small nod. Then maybe we can both remember it now. The next morning, Ryan woke to find Mira standing in front of the window. The early light of Mars shone through her glowing form. Stay close, she said. I can feel them. He went to her side. We'll be ready. Mira turned to him, her face calm but serious. If they find me, I must go. You must not stop them. You safe, Ryan frowned. Not happening. I'm not letting them take you, she smiled gently. You brave, Ryan, but they not like you, they cold. They take what they want. He looked at her glowing eyes and said, Then they'll learn what happens when they try that on humans. For the first time since he met her, Mira laughed softly. Maybe you win, she said. Maybe humans stronger than they think. Ryan didn't answer. He just looked out the window, his jaw set. The small light in the sky was growing brighter now. Closer. He didn't know how he would stop them. But he knew one thing for sure. He had saved Mira once and he would do it again, no matter what came next. And as the first shadows of the incoming ship passed over the red desert, the quiet mechanic and the alien princess stood together, two very different beings sharing one promise, to face whatever arrived from the stars side by side. The shadow of the Dominion scout lingered above the Martian desert like a silent threat. Ryan stood at the edge of his workshop, looking at the small glowing dot in the sky that slowly approached the colony. He clenched his fists. He knew that Mira's warning was real. The Dominion would not hesitate to capture her, and he could not let that happen. Inside the workshop, Mira floated quietly. The small light of her glow filled the room, reflecting softly on the scattered tools and machines. She watched Ryan as he moved around, preparing for something she did not fully understand. You humans fight like this? She asked softly, tilting her head. Ryan gave a small shrug. We don't have powerful ships or weapons like yours. But we have brains, hearts, and the ability to turn simple things into tools. You'll see. Mira's eyes brightened with curiosity. Teach me? Ryan shook his head and smiled. Not yet. First we prepare. The two of them began the work of hiding Mira's presence. Ryan covered the crash pod with old mining metal plates and placed sand over it. He rigged small lights and holographic decoys to confuse any sensors. He went to the old colony energy network and rerouted power lines to make it seem like no activity was happening in the workshop. Mira watched him, fascinated. Human clever, she whispered. You make traps? Ryan laughed softly. I guess you could say that. We survive on thinking, not on power. Hours passed. As night fell again, the approaching ship grew larger and brighter in the sky. The colony's few security drones moved slowly, scanning the area. But Ryan had already disabled their main sensors near his workshop. Mira floated beside him. They will come close, she said, her voice soft but serious. They will scan the ground. You must be ready, Ryan nodded. I am ready. We'll use what we have. Human way. He led Mira to a small underground tunnel he had discovered near the mining site. The tunnel was part of old mining machinery, abandoned decades ago. Ryan had cleaned it out and reinforced it to hold him and Mira if they needed to hide. This way, he said, taking her hand. Mira followed, her small body glowing faintly. It is safe here, yes? She asked. For now, Ryan said. But we may need more than safety. We may need to fight. Mira's eyes widened. Fight? Ryan stopped and looked at her. Yes, I don't like it, but if they find you, they will not ask questions. They will take you. We cannot let that happen, she nodded slowly. I trust you, Ryan. Show me way. They spent the next few hours preparing. Ryan collected old mining lasers, magnetic cranes, and even large drill heads from the abandoned tunnels. He set them up in ways that only someone who knew the colony well could understand. When activated, they could push or pull objects, trap intruders, or create obstacles that a ship would not expect. Mira watched everything carefully. You think this work? She asked. Ryan smiled. We don't know yet, but humans have a history. When we face impossible odds, we find a way. You will see. As midnight approached, the Dominion scout landed on the outskirts of the colony. The small ship's shadow covered part of the desert, and the red sand glowed faintly beneath its lights. Ryan activated his traps using the old control panels in his workshop. Mira floated beside him, her glow intensifying. They strong, she whispered. You must careful, Ryan nodded. We are careful. We are clever too. The first scout team left the ship. Small hovering drones scanned the ground, sending signals back to the main vessel. Ryan triggered the first trap. A metal sheet hidden in the sand tilted upward, creating a small ramp that sent the drone spinning away. Mira's eyes widened in surprise. Human clever, she whispered again. Ryan grinned. This is just the beginning. The next drones moved closer. Ryan activated magnetic cranes, swinging heavy beams across the desert path. The Dominion machines, built for speed but not for improvisation, collided and were thrown off balance. Mira gasped. You make this? Yes, and there's more, Ryan said, moving to the next control. He connected a mining laser to the old energy network and aimed it at the approaching scout drones. The laser was not powerful like a real weapon, but it created bright light and heat that confused the Dominion scanners. The drones hesitated, giving Ryan more time to protect Mira. Mira's glow shifted again. She floated higher, her energy interacting with the band on her wrist. The band pulsed as if reacting to the danger. Ryan noticed it. What are you doing? He asked. I help, she said simply. Band make light. Distract them. Ryan smiled, amazed. Even though she was small and far from her home, her abilities added to their defenses. He had saved her once, but now it felt like they were saving each other. Hours passed and the small scout team tried to adapt. They sent messages to the main ship, but Ryan had jammed the signal temporarily with old communication panels. The Dominion drones could not understand why the colony seemed empty, yet obstacles appeared at every turn. Ryan, Mira said softly, why you help me? You risk yourself, he paused, looking at her glowing eyes. Because it is right. Because someone needed help and I can give it. That's enough reason. Mira's eyes softened. Your people strong. Not only in body but heart. Ryan laughed softly. Maybe. Or maybe we just survive better than anyone expects. The night grew colder and the scouts finally decided to retreat temporarily. Ryan watched the shadow of their ship lift off, leaving only faint marks in the sand. He turned to Mira, who floated quietly beside him. They will return, she said. They always return. I know, Ryan replied, and next time we'll be ready. Over the next few days, Ryan worked even harder. He repaired Mira's pod, studying the strange alien materials she had brought with her. Every part of it seemed advanced. Yet with careful observation, he found ways to improve it using human tools. Mira watched him, learning quickly. You think humans simple, she said one day. But you learn. You adapt. You make work where nothing work. Ryan smiled. That's us. That's what we do. One evening, while they worked on a small propulsion system, Mira asked him a question that surprised him. Ryan, when you fight, you not afraid? He paused. Of course I am afraid. But fear does not stop humans. We find ways past it. We do not give up. She nodded slowly. I see. You fight not because you're strong, but because you choose to. Yes, Ryan said simply. And sometimes that choice is the strongest thing we have. Mira studied him for a long time. I never meet anyone like you, she said softly. Maybe your people. Maybe humans are more than we know. Ryan laughed quietly. We surprise even ourselves sometimes. By the end of the week, Mira's pod was ready for testing. Ryan had repaired its engines, reinforced the hull, and even connected parts of the energy system to human power grids. He showed Mira how to activate it slowly, explaining each step. You ready? He asked. She nodded. Yes, I ready. They activated the pod together. A soft hum filled the workshop as energy flowed through the system. The pod lifted slightly, hovering. Mira's glow intensified as she moved her hands over the controls. For the first time since she had arrived on Mars, the pod moved under her direction. Rian watched, feeling proud. See? Human way. We make tools work even when they seem impossible. Mira smiled. You teach well, Ryan. I learn more than I know. As the pod landed again, Ryan felt a new determination. The Dominion would return and the stakes would be higher. But now he had hope. Hope not only in Mira but in humans themselves. Ordinary people using ordinary tools could do extraordinary things. He turned to Mira. Tomorrow we make it better. We prepare for them. Together. She nodded, her glow soft but steady. Together, she said. Outside, the red desert of Mars lay quiet. The wind swept over the sand, erasing footprints and hiding the signs of the small battles fought below. But in a small workshop, a mechanic and an alien princess were building something stronger than machines or weapons. They were building trust, courage, and the first proof that even against a galactic empire, humans had a way to fight that no one expected. And for Ryan, that was enough to keep going. For Mira, it was enough to believe that even far from home, she was not alone. The first light of Mars stretched across the red desert, turning the sand into a soft gold. The quiet of the morning was deceptive. High above the colony, a fleet of Dominion scouts moved silently, scanning the land for any sign of the hidden princess. Ryan watched from the top of a small ridge, his eyes narrowing as he traced the shadow of their ships against the horizon. Beside him, Mira floated lightly, her glow bright and steady. They are many, she whispered. Too many for humans alone. Ryan nodded. Numbers don't matter if we are smart. We know the land. We know the machines. We can turn every advantage into a weapon. Mira studied him carefully. You are brave. I am careful too, Ryan said. Bravery without planning gets people hurt. We plan first. We fight second. The morning air was crisp and cold, but Ryan felt a heat of determination in his chest. He had spent the past days setting up the colony's defenses. Old mining lasers had been mounted on towers and hidden behind rocks. Magnetic cranes hung above the canyon paths, ready to swing heavy beams at anything that moved. He had even rerouted old drills to act like obstacles, ready to block vehicles or break the ground under invaders. Mira floated beside him, her glow reflecting on the rusty metal and red sand. I will help, she said. My band can shield. My light can confuse, Ryan smiled. Then let's make sure they regret coming here. The first scout ships landed on the outskirts of the colony. Small drones poured from the vessels, scanning the ground for signs of Mira or any hidden resistance. Ryan activated the first trap. A hidden magnetic crane swung a heavy metal beam across the desert path. One of the drones collided with it and toppled over, sparks flying as it hit the sand. Mira gasped. Human clever, she said, floating higher. Her band glowed brighter, sending bursts of light across the desert. The drone's sensors flickered, unsure what to follow. Ryan ducked behind a low ridge, using his knowledge of the terrain to stay out of sight. He directed the colony defenses with calm, precise movements. Activate the drills on my mark, he said into a small communicator. The miners, brave and willing to help, pressed buttons and pulled levers, activating the hidden drills. The sand shook violently as metal teeth tore through the desert, blocking paths and forcing the Dominion machines into predictable routes. Every step they took was now controlled by Ryan's strategy. Mira watched in amazement. Your people, they are small but smart. You make machines fight for you. Ryan nodded. That's how we survive. Humans are not the strongest. We just think differently. The Dominion sent in larger machines next. Ships hovered low, dropping armored units to secure the ground. Ryan knew that direct confrontation would be dangerous. He led Mira to a small control hub hidden beneath the workshop, from where he could manipulate more defenses. He activated hidden lasers, sending bright beams into the sky and reflecting them across mirrors to blind the approaching ship's sensors. Mira's band pulsed in rhythm with the lasers, amplifying the effect. The Dominion units moved cautiously, confused by the sudden flashes of light. Your light, Ryan said to Mira. It's working. Keep it steady. She concentrated, her small body glowing brighter and brighter. The energy from her band seemed to reach the Dominion ships, making their targeting systems unstable. Ryan smiled. See? Humans fight not just with strength. We fight with brains and heart. Hours passed. The battle grew more intense. Some of the Dominion machines adapted. sending heavier units to push through the traps. Ryan activated a series of magnetic cranes in a pattern he had practiced repeatedly. Heavy beams swung in wide arcs, blocking paths and forcing the enemies into sand traps. The colony's few miners worked alongside him, using everything they could find, rocks, metal sheets, old energy tools, to create obstacles. Mira hovered above, her glow a constant shield. She projected beams of light toward the Dominion drones, confusing their visual systems and creating illusions of walls and traps that were not there. Ryan watched her, amazed. "You're doing great, Mira. Keep going." She smiled faintly. "I learn from you, Ryan. Humans, clever, brave." The Dominion commanders seemed frustrated. Their drones collided with traps. Their vehicles toppled into sand pits and their communications were jammed by Ryan's improvised systems. Yet they persisted. The battle tested every part of Ryan's knowledge of the colony. He moved like a conductor, coordinating lasers, drills, cranes, and the miners' tools in perfect rhythm. At one point, a heavy scout unit broke through the first line of defenses, heading directly toward the workshop. Ryan grabbed an old mining drill, aiming it toward the approaching vehicle. Mira's band glowed fiercely, sending a blinding light toward the vehicle's sensors. Confused, the scout crashed into a magnetic trap, spinning off and disabling itself. Mira floated down beside him. "You risk yourself too much," she said, her voice soft. Ryan shook his head. "I can't just hide. If they find you, nothing else matters." Mira placed a small hand on his arm. "I understand. You fight with heart. That is human way." The battle reached a turning point when the Dominion sent a larger ship to land near the colony center. Ryan knew it was too strong to fight directly. He led the miners and Mira to the tunnels below the colony, activating hidden traps to slow the enemy. Rocks and metal sheets fell in patterns that forced the Dominion machines to move into prepared areas. The energy from Mira's band amplified the confusion, making the enemy hesitate and miscalculate every move. "Human strength is not muscle," Ryan said to Mira as they watched from below. "It is courage, mind, and teamwork." Mira nodded. "I see now. Humans can fight more than I thought. Small, yet powerful." As night fell, Ryan activated the final stage of his defense. Using old colony energy grids and his repaired systems, he created a pulse of light and sound that projected outward across the battlefield. The Dominion drones misinterpreted the signals as heavy resistance, believing reinforcements had arrived. Many units retreated, and the larger ship, seeing no way to secure the area, lifted off in frustration. The desert fell silent again. Ryan and Mira stepped outside the tunnels. The colony was battered but safe. The sand was marked by deep tracks and scorched metal, but no one had been seriously hurt. Ryan's heart pounded, but he smiled. They had survived. Mira floated beside him, her glow steady and calm. "You did it," she said. "You fight with humans. You protect. You win." Ryan shook his head. "We won today, but they will come back. Stronger, faster, more prepared. We need to be ready." Mira studied the horizon. "Yes, but now I know humans not weak. You protect even when impossible. I learn courage from you." Ryan smiled faintly. "And I learn from you too. Your band, your light. It shows that even small things can make a difference." Over the next few days, Ryan worked tirelessly with Mira and the colony miners. They repaired damaged equipment, reinforced the tunnels, and created even more clever traps for any future attacks. Mira taught Ryan how her band could project energy fields and illusions. Together, they combined human ingenuity with alien technology, making a defense that was stronger than either alone. The Dominion scouts did not return immediately, but Ryan and Mira knew it was only a matter of time. They trained the miners to operate the defenses, turning the ordinary workers into a clever and resourceful force. Mira's presence inspired everyone. Her story of a lost home and a powerful empire hunting her made the people understand the importance of courage and teamwork. One evening, after a long day of repairs and preparation, Ryan and Mira stood at the edge of the colony, looking at the red desert. The wind swept over the sand, carrying the scent of metal and dust. "You are ready," Mira said softly. "Your people, humans, clever, brave, strong." Ryan nodded, watching the horizon. "We are ready. Not because we have the strongest weapons, not because we have the biggest ships, but because we never give up no matter the odds." Mira smiled faintly. "Then if they come, we will fight together?" "Together," Ryan said firmly, "side by side." We will show them what humans can do. The red sun of Mars sank behind the horizon, painting the desert in shades of orange and purple. Ryan felt a quiet pride. The colony had stood against a galactic power, not through firepower but through courage, ingenuity, and determination. Mira floated beside him, her glow steady and calm, a reminder that even in the darkest times hope and bravery could shine brighter than any weapon. The battle for Mars was won for now, but Ryan knew this was only the beginning. The Dominion would return, stronger and more prepared, but humans had already proven they were not helpless. They had fought using their hearts and minds, and that was something no empire could easily destroy. And as the stars appeared over the Martian desert, Ryan and Mira stood together, ready to face whatever came next, knowing that humanity had a strength far greater than anyone outside the solar system could imagine. The red dust of Mars settled quietly over Ridgepoint Colony. The morning sun rose gently, casting soft light over the battered structures, scorched sand, and the scattered debris from the recent battle. The colony had survived the Dominion's first attack. The miners and colonists moved carefully, repairing damaged equipment and clearing paths. Their courage had been tested, and for the first time they knew what humans could accomplish when they worked together. Ryan walked beside Mira as she floated lightly over the ground. Her glow reflected softly on the red sand, illuminating the path ahead. She had been quiet all morning, watching the colony with careful eyes. For days now they had been preparing for the Dominion's return, but this quiet moment felt different. "They will come again," Mira said softly. "But we show them humans. Strong, clever, brave," Ryan nodded. "Yes, today we rebuild. Tomorrow we prepare for what comes next." Mira turned toward him. "Ryan, you fight not for glory. You fight because you care. That is human way. Your people, humans, not weak," Ryan smiled faintly. "We surprise ourselves sometimes. But yes, we care. That is what makes us strong." The two of them walked toward the workshop. Inside, the repaired pod that had brought Mira to Mars stood quietly. It had been fixed and improved thanks to Ryan's skill and Mira's alien technology. They had worked together for days, learning from each other, blending human creativity with Thalra science. Mira floated closer to the pod. "I can leave now," she said softly. "Return to my people. I can signal the fleet." Ryan studied her carefully. "You could leave now, but I think the fleet should see humans for themselves. You said your people lose because they underestimate others. Let them see what we can do." Mira nodded slowly. "Yes, you show strength. Humans not only clever with machines, but with heart." They worked side by side to activate the pod's communication array. Mira's band pulsed in rhythm with the systems, sending a signal far beyond the solar system. Ryan watched as a holographic star map appeared in the workshop, showing the location of the Thalra fleet. "They are coming," Mira whispered. Within hours, the first lights of the fleet appeared in orbit above Mars. Giant ships moved gracefully through space, their hulls glowing softly in the thin Martian atmosphere. Ryan and Mira watched from the ridge, the scale of the fleet taking their breath away. The ships were advanced far beyond anything humans had built, but Ryan did not feel fear. Instead, he felt a quiet pride. Humans had survived the first attack. They had shown ingenuity and courage. They had earned respect. Mira turned to him. "They see you. They see humans. They learn," Ryan smiled. "And we learn from them too." The Thalra fleet descended carefully, landing small crafts near the colony. Soldiers and engineers stepped out, observing the people of Ridgepoint. Mira led them to Ryan, introducing him formally to the commanders of her fleet. "This is Ryan," she said softly. "He saved me. He saved his colony. Humans are strong in ways we did not expect." The Thalra commanders studied him with careful eyes. They were taller and more advanced than humans, with silver markings and glowing eyes that reflected the light of their ships. One of them spoke in a melodic voice. "You are the one who rescued our princess." Ryan nodded. "Yes, I found her and helped her." "That is all I did." The commander smiled faintly. "You did more than you know. You defended your people. You defended her. That is bravery we respect." Mira floated beside him, glowing brightly. "Humans, not weak. They fight with heart, with cleverness, with courage. They deserve trust. They deserve alliance." The commanders looked at each other and nodded. After a moment, one of them spoke. "We will form an alliance. Your people may be small in number, but your spirit is strong. You will have a place among the stars with us." Rian's heart raced. An alliance? Yes, the commander said. Your people will learn from us and we will learn from you. Together we can face threats like the Dominion. Together we can survive and thrive. Mira's glow brightened. See, Rian? You show courage. You show humans are worthy. Now they know. For the first time since she had arrived on Mars, Mira smiled fully. Ryan realized that the bond they had built, the trust and courage they had shared, had changed more than just the colony. It had changed the way a galactic fleet viewed humanity. Over the next few days, humans and Thalra engineers worked together to repair the colony and improve its defenses. The miners learned quickly, adapting Thalra technology to their own skills. Simple human creativity combined with advanced alien science created systems that were efficient and effective. Rian taught the Thalra how to use human tools in unexpected ways. Mira guided them, showing how her band could interact with the energy systems. Together they built a network of defenses that could protect the colony from future attacks and signal help across the solar system if needed. One evening, Rian and Mira stood at the edge of the colony, watching the two suns of Mars dip below the horizon. The desert was quiet now, peaceful for the first time since the Dominion scouts had arrived. You see now, Mira said softly, your people, humans, can face danger and survive. You are brave, clever, and strong. Not only in body but in heart. Ryan nodded, feeling a quiet pride. I know, and we will continue to learn. We will continue to grow. This is only the beginning. Mira's glow pulsed gently in agreement. Yes, together we face future. Together we protect. Together humans and Thalra are strong. Days passed and the colony flourished under the new alliance. The Thalra taught humans advanced ways of using energy, shields, and transportation. Humans taught the Thalra how to improvise, use small tools cleverly, and work with limited resources. Both sides learned that strength came not just from machines or technology, but from cooperation, courage, and determination. One evening, Mira approached Ryan while he was repairing a small rover. You saved me, she said softly. But also, you saved more than that. You saved trust. You saved hope. Your people, humans, can shine across stars. Rian looked at her, feeling the weight of her words. I just did what anyone would do, but yes, together we can do more than I imagined. Mira's glow reflected on the rover's metal surface. Now we can go further. We can learn together. We can protect each other. We can face what comes next. Rian nodded. And we will, no matter what comes. The Thalra fleet prepared to leave Mars after ensuring the colony's safety and establishing the alliance. Mira stood beside Ryan on the ridge, watching as the first ships lifted off, leaving soft trails of light in the thin Martian atmosphere. You will come back? Ryan asked. Mira smiled. Yes, and next time you will not only have us, you will have more. Together, humans and Thalra, we are strong. We are ready. Ryan felt a warmth in his chest. For weeks he had faced impossible odds. He had protected an alien princess, saved his colony, and outsmarted a galactic power. But standing there now, he understood something greater. Humans had a place among the stars. Their courage, creativity, and heart were recognized beyond the solar system. The desert lay quiet once more. The wind swept across the sand, erasing the footprints of battle. But the memory of what humans could do, and what they had achieved with Mira's help, would remain forever. As the stars began to shine brightly in the Martian sky, Ryan turned to Mira. You came here lost and scared. But now, thanks to you and all of us, we've built something bigger than either of us imagined. The Dominion will return, yes, but we are ready. Mira floated beside him, her glow calm and bright. We face the future together. Humans, your people, they are worthy. They can do more than even you know. Ryan smiled. Then let's make sure they do. For Mars, for Earth, for the stars. And so the story of Ridgepoint Colony became more than a tale of survival. It became a story of courage, ingenuity, and the human spirit. The humans had stood against a galactic empire, not with the largest ships or the strongest weapons, but with cleverness, teamwork, and heart. They had earned a place among the stars, guided by the trust and friendship of an alien princess they had once rescued. Mars was safe. The colony was strong. And humanity had proven that even the smallest and most ordinary people could achieve extraordinary things when they acted with courage, compassion, and cleverness. For Rian, Mira, and the people of Ridgepoint, This was only the beginning. Together with their new allies, they would explore the stars, face new challenges, and show the galaxy what humans were truly capable of. And in that quiet desert under the glowing Martian sky, a mechanic and an alien princess looked to the future, ready to shine as one, a new alliance born from courage, friendship, and hope.